Mercedes' performance at Silverstone left the team deeply disappointed. Despite Hamilton's previous success at the race, winning this year was always going to be a difficult feat. However, being overtaken by McLaren was not even a consideration before the race weekend. The customer team showcased remarkable quality, and had it not been for an ill-timed safety car, they could have secured 2 podium finishes. The outcome has raised concerns for Hamilton, prompting Mercedes to completely reassess their strategy for the year. Today, we will delve into Mercedes British Grand Prix, Hamilton's profound disappointment, and the team's future direction. Let's begin. A remarkable shift occurred as McLaren surpassed Mercedes in the Formula One pecking order at the British Grand Prix. But was this a one-time event or a sign of things to come? McLaren endured a difficult start to 2023, missing key development targets during the winter, as acknowledged by Zak Brown from the beginning of testing. Their technical department underwent significant changes, and the MCL60 began the season as the slowest car on the grid. However, they gradually made steady progress and achieved their best performance of the year in Austria when Lando Norris secured a 4th-place finish. McLaren's resurgence continued at Silverstone, with Norris narrowly missing out on pole position and teammate Oscar Piastri qualifying an impressive 3rd. The team's impressive one-lap pace translated into race day success at the British Grand Prix, where McLaren, much like Red Bull, had the 2nd fastest car on the grid. As Norris and Piastri held off Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton and George Russell to secure 2nd and 4th places, it marked the 2nd consecutive race in which Mercedes was outperformed by their customer team. This season, Mercedes losing to their customer teams has become a recurring theme, which is highly unusual in Formula One. The Spanish Grand Prix remains the only race this season where Mercedes outperformed all of their customer cars. However, the outcome at Silverstone has set off alarm bells for Hamilton, admitting that McLaren's qualifying pace served as a wake-up call for his team. Hamilton firmly believed that McLaren had a car that was 100% faster than the Mercedes at both the Red Bull Ring and Silverstone. He acknowledged that McLaren deserved the performance they achieved and emphasized the need for Mercedes to do a better job. Hamilton stated, "They have now done a better job than us." Russell was left astounded by McLaren's impressive pace, considering it came seemingly out of nowhere. When asked if McLaren's performance gives him hope for a quick turnaround, Russell replied affirmatively, but acknowledged the need to identify the right areas to focus on. He expressed hope that McLaren's surge was a one-time occurrence but recognized their strong performance in Austria as well, despite it being a different circuit. Nonetheless, he praised McLaren's achievements while questioning their strategy, believing they could have gained an even bigger advantage by using different tire strategies. McLaren's leap forward poses a significant concern for Mercedes. Despite their efforts to reshape the side pods and introduce upgrades to close the gap to Red Bull and move out of the midfield, something is clearly not working for the team. Russell himself acknowledged this, stating that they thought they knew what they were looking for to improve the car, but are now forced to question themselves once again after qualifying 6th and 7th. While the Mercedes drivers did show improvement during the race, they couldn't match McLaren's performance. Surprisingly, the Silverstone circuit was well suited to the Mercedes W14. Hamilton openly admitted his worries, expressing his disappointment with the upgraded Mercedes at Silverstone. The introduction of a new front wing with curved separators did not improve the car's performance. He confessed, "Yesterday was not the greatest feeling at the end. I think ultimately we had a really bad race, obviously in the previous week, and we knew we had an upgrade coming here. So we were all very hopeful of the step that we were going to hopefully take this weekend and bring us closer. But to our disappointment, it didn't take us that step, unfortunately. And for us to be 6th and 7th just ultimately wasn't a great feeling." This recurring problem has plagued Mercedes since the introduction of the new technical regulations in 2022. There seems to be a disconnect between what is happening at the factory and what occurs on the track. Mercedes lacks a deep understanding of how their car works. There is some crucial piece of knowledge that they are missing, rendering their efforts incomplete. It's akin to trying to paint the Mona Lisa while looking at a photo missing half her face. It will never be quite right. As a result, the team is compelled to completely rethink their plans for the season. Team principal Toto Wolff has admitted that Mercedes will soon have no choice but to shift their focus from developing this season's car and instead concentrate on next year. Wolff understands that they can't do anything to halt Red Bull's dominance and believes it's time to make the switch. When asked about the timing of this shift, Wolff responded, "I think pretty soon. We have no choice. P2 or P3 fundamentally doesn't impact me and the team. It's about coming back to being able to win a world championship. That's not gonna happen this year, so we need to set our eyes on next year, and we'll see with all the races to come how we can learn and develop and make sure that we can carry that forward into next year." Although the regulations remain the same, Wolff acknowledges the need for a balance, as Mercedes already plans to extensively rework their chassis for next season, abandoning the zero-pod concept. This decision will require a significant amount of work, further justifying the idea of shifting focus away from this year's car. In contrast to the previous season when Mercedes continued pushing upgrades until the last race, hoping for improvements, they failed to recognize the flaws in the zero-pod concept. Aston Martin's significant progress at the start of this season prompted Mercedes to view it positively, as Aston Martin achieved impressive results with the Mercedes engine, gearbox, and rear suspension. Publicly, they adopt a similar stance regarding McLaren's improvements. However, behind the scenes, there might be a different sentiment. Wolff conveyed to McLaren, "We were not competitive at the beginning of the season, and it is good to see because it shows if you make the right decisions, the car can make a huge leap forward." Mercedes' challenge lies in their struggle to make the right decisions, which has been an ongoing issue. Another ongoing concern for Mercedes is Hamilton's lack of a new contract. Despite his reassurances that he won't retire from Formula One at the end of the season, the failed upgrades and Mercedes' struggles have sparked doubts about his future. The delay in signing the contract and the apparent disagreements have raised eyebrows. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner expressed his confusion, noting that talks have been ongoing since February and that there must be a fundamental point of disagreement preventing an agreement. He said, "So one can only assume that there is something fundamental that they can't agree on. We don't tend to conduct negotiations through the media. It's usually a couple of conversations around the table, and the job is done. So I don't understand why there has to be something preventing it from happening." The comment section is open for your thoughts and opinions. Share your insights on what might be hindering Mercedes upgrades from delivering the desired results. Thank you for watching, and until next time, drive safe and farewell. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future updates, ensuring you stay informed about the exciting 2023 Formula One season.